honor amongst college basketball thieves? We find out tonight as Eastern Kentucky visits VCU. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Verizon Wireless Arena. John Laser alongside Brooks Berry. Tonight, a very interesting matchup. Two programs that both call Richmond home, but Brooks, these teams have a lot more in common than that. They are the top two thieving basketball teams in the country.
So well coached defensively. Both coaches really stress that, and because of that, they lead the country in steals.
Like VCU, Eastern Kentucky is led by their pressure defense, and when we look at keys, not surprisingly, they need to produce some pilfers this evening.
You're exactly right, John. Eastern Kentucky has got to keep VCU off balance with their defense, changing defenses, that is. They'll generate steals because of that, and they live by the three. Top 20 in the country in threes made.
And despite an aggressive defensive game plan for Eastern Kentucky, you still think VCU needs to attack offensively behind this havoc defense.
They can't get caught worrying about what defense Eastern Kentucky is in. They've got to attack. Also create havoc on defense, forcing those turnovers, and Shaka Smart would love good bench production tonight.
The Colonels aren't the biggest team in the nation by any stretch of the imagination, but they've got some electricity, including this guy, Glenn Cozy.
Glenn Cozy's one of the best mid-major point guards in the country. He scored 20 points in 4 of the last 5 games.
Shaka Smart and the Rams continue to search for a floor leader coming off a struggling trip to Puerto Rico. Shaka Smart issued that challenge. Javante Reddick has been the one that has stood up over the last week.
The big fella inside has got to be active. He's had a double-double 3 of the last 4 games. For VCU to win tonight, he's got to produce in the same way.
We are anticipating a very energetic matchup tonight. It is the battle for Richmond supremacy. Richmond, Kentucky, Richmond, Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, VCU. Basketball on Broad Street next. The leader of the Eastern Kentucky Colonels, Jeff Neubauer, in his 9th season, coming off a school record 25 wins a year ago and off to a 6-2 start, and good friends with the leader of Havoc here in Richmond, Shaka Smart, as we take a look at the 5th season head coach, Shaka Smart, huddling with the Rams as they look to stay unbeaten on this floor. Brooks Berry, they have not lost a game here in this building since December, since 2010. They'll try to beat this lineup for the Colonels, led in the backcourt by Glenn Cozy, all preseason, everything preseason in many regards. Corey Walden, quite a player as well. Marcus Lewis can jump out of the gym. Treveon Johnson and Eric Stutz round out the starting 5. And for the Rams, they'll go back to a more traditional look tonight. Treveon Graham, you see in the center of that graphic, back in the starting lineup after he heavily produced but did not start the last 2. Terrence Shannon is back with the team, Brooks, and that's big tonight. However, it will be Mo Alley-Cox who makes the start, his 3rd.
And the freshman Mo Alley-Cox has really stepped up and been active, but Treveon Graham back in the starting lineup, the Atlantic 10 Player of the Week, has had 2 big games in the last 2 outings for the Rams.
We are ready to roll, and 6'4" Marcus Lewis gets the best of 6'9" Javante Reddick. It will be the Colonels on offense first. Eastern Kentucky in maroon. Dump it to Stutz, didn't have the path. An open look in the corner. And Weber cleans it up for VCU. Here come the Rams, right to the rack. Weber will open the scoring.
And Eastern Kentucky runs a lot of the same actions that John Beilein runs at Michigan. Jeff Neubauer is a John Beilein disciple. But one thing about Eastern Kentucky is they've got to get back on defense and protect the basket, because VCU's going to run every chance they get.
VCU had a little extra time to set up that pressure as the basketball got away from Walden briefly. But the Colonels able to work it into the front court.
And VCU will show various looks in their full court pressure. That time more of a 3/4 court press, but Eastern Kentucky's got to be ready to react and anticipate.
Mo Alley-Cox up high, flustering Walden into the trap, able to get rid of it. Down a defender, the Rams, and Lewis flies in.
Marcus Lewis can fly. When you get double teamed, if you have your head up and can make a good pass out of that, there might be easy opportunities, as we just saw for Eastern Kentucky.
Eastern Kentucky, again, very similar trapping style in the half court. That's been their Achilles heel, nearly getting the steal and instead giving up an easy bucket. It's VCU that does so. And we're square at 2, second minute of this first half. Reddick coming off a double-double, dribbles it off his foot, and it's Lewis on Weber. And the delayed arrival will allow him to lay it in.
And both teams have such active hands on defense. They run different defenses, but they both get after it.
Eastern Kentucky with the lead. Weber fell asleep. Walden took it away from him and takes it in.
Briante Weber's used to doing that to other folks. But Corey Walden has active hands, like we said, and Eastern Kentucky playing man-to-man right now. But sometimes they'll go 2-3, sometimes they'll go 1-3-1. VCU's got to be ready to react as well.
Last 6 for the Colonels. Weber was actually trying to listen to Shaka Smart from the bench there, and that's why he was distracted. Graham wanted that shot, thought better of it. The Rams will reset with half the shot clock, and Weber is tied up and fouled. Marcus Lewis draws the first infraction for either team tonight.
And Jeff Neubauer will do everything he can to make this a half-court game. He won't send too many players to the offensive glass because he wants to get back and protect the rim and make VCU execute just like they had to do in that possession.
Co-A10 Player of the Week, Treveon Graham inbounds. It was Graham and Reddick who led the Rams past Belmont. The Bruins picked second in the Ohio Valley Conference as Graham's first attempt of the night. Too strong.
And that possession, 2-3 zone for Eastern Kentucky, showing a different look already.
Eastern Kentucky picked to top the Ohio Valley Conference. The Colonels on a 6-0 run. Third minute of this first half. Action well away from the basket. Walden, mismatch from a quickness standpoint, shovel to the corner, and Cozy cannot connect from the right side. Offensive board, however, Stutz and Weber payback as he strips it away from Lewis. Rams trailing by 4. Weber had that very quick bucket. Rams quiet sense. Graham coming in, no. Reddick had a brief look at it. Couldn't corral it, and it's the Colonels that break out of the pack. And the trailer will dump it home. Cozy, the leading scorer with his first 2.
John, to this point in the game, both teams are playing so hard. Shaka Smart wants a quick 30-second timeout to keep his guys composed and sort of let them know what's going on to this point in the game. He's not happy with the way they've executed at this point on offense.
8-0 run for the Colonels after VCU got the first 2 points of the night. This is not what VCU is looking for. However, it's not entirely unexpected. From VCU's camp earlier today, they said, we anticipate the Colonels coming out and punching us in the mouth. How we react to it will be a key to whether or not we're successful this evening.
And they've really given VCU a taste of their own medicine, being active on defense and generating steals. As we said, top 2 teams in the country in stealing the basketball. Eastern Kentucky does it more in the half court, where VCU does it more in the full court. But Shaka doesn't want this to be a half-court game. He's going to try to push the tempo and get more easy buckets in transition.
Glenn Cozy, you saw there, the pride of Flint, Michigan, by way of Columbus State Community College, where he was the all-time leading scorer. 19 points per game thus far, and a potential candidate for Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year. Rams out of their first called timeout. And we have a clock issue, I believe. Shot clock did not start properly. So VCU will draw it back up again. This time Weber able to communicate with Shaka Smart while the ball is not in play. You saw him get it taken away from him by Walden a couple possessions back. Trying to sort out that clock issue, as you see there.
Weber's gotten off to a great start this season as the new point guard for VCU. They've had Eric Maynor, Joey Rodriguez, Darius Theus. Now Weber is the one who's had to step up and lead the team. To this point, he's done a very good job. One thing he's excellent at is stealing the basketball, but Eastern Kentucky is the team that's come out to this point and generated easy buckets because of those active hands in the half court. Marcus Lewis can really finish, John.
All of the buckets have been relatively easy. The Colonels have missed their 2 outside attempts thus far. Back to action. Weber underneath the kick out. Brandenburg looked short, was short. And VCU, another empty trip. The horn sounds there, but we'll play through that.
Great job by Corey Walden contesting the shot, coming back and cleaning the defensive glass.
VCU got into a similar hole against Belmont, came roaring back to end what was the nation's longest home winning streak.
That's the thing about VCU. Unbelievable spurt ability. That's my favorite word, John.
I know it is.
Went on a 22-2 run against Belmont, but they don't play defense. There's not going to be a run tonight.
What a take by Corey Walden there. Glided in on the left and came back up on the right, and they continue to have an issue. When they reset the shot clock, it's triggering the horn for whatever reason.
And when people think of John Beilein in Michigan, they think of a spread offense, backdoor cuts, moving the basketball, the five-man coming out, setting high ball screens, which generates easy buckets. Corey Walden was the benefactor of that good spacing and good cutting that last possession.
10-0 run for Eastern Kentucky, 16:02 to go, and it looks like they might bring us the first media timeout here in advance, and actually they're running some time off the clock, so we are going to go to the under 16 timeout. Eastern Kentucky up early. Phenomenal start for Eastern Kentucky, a 10-0 run, all 10 of those points coming in the paint, including that excellent finish from Corey Walden.
Beautiful backdoor cut. VCU's going to overplay the wings. They're so aggressive defensively. They're going to backdoor cut if you're Eastern Kentucky to get easy buckets. Corey Walden, a great feel for seeing the defense overplay and then cutting back to the basket.
Eastern Kentucky already 2 steals in this game and 3 assists. They're moving the basketball well, Brooks. And VCU, which has struggled a bit in the defensive half court, has struggled defensively thus far.
I think to this point, VCU has come out a little asleep. Shaka Smart wasn't happy with his team earlier today in shoot-around, and he's going to try to jumpstart them to this point.
See Shaka Smart pacing the sidelines there. He's already gone to his first timeout, as Jared Guest will come off the bench along with Melvin Johnson to try to inject some life into this Rams team. They trail by 8. Briante Weber coming to get it back from Guest. And an excellent look to Reddick for the stuff.
Eastern Kentucky very active on defense, but they've spread the floor for VCU and allowed Briante Weber to slice in there. Beautiful pass.
Colonel's able to get it up floor before the Rams could set up their press. As VCU snaps that 10-0 run.
It's almost as if we're seeing a mirror image of these two teams in the half court with their activity on defense.
4 of the starters for Eastern Kentucky, including Walden, who holds the basketball. Junior college transfers. Walden out of Brevard County Community College down in Florida. And in comes Terrius Johnson. And a straight-on look for Terrius.
That's what he does well. He's a slasher and finisher. Maybe a charge right there. I think Walden got his feet set. And Roger Ayers thought so as well.
That was the old fake out from Roger Ayers there. A little lean to the right and then give it back on the offensive foul. And that is the player control foul against VCU. So again, the lead is 8 for the Colonels. And they have effectively, as much as you can, Brooks, taken this crowd out of it to this point.
And one of the ways they've done that is good transition defense. VCU's not used to having 5 guys back waiting for him. And Briante Weber's got to have awareness and react to the defense already being set.
Shaka Smart will give Briante Weber a break. JeQuan Lewis, the freshman, comes on for the Rams. VCU has plenty of depth to try different personnel, and they'll force a steal here. Guest got his hand on it. Rams will run. Melvin Johnson, and will go the other way.
And I agree with that call. Jared Guest set a moving screen trying to set up his teammate Melvin Johnson for the easy layup. I know the crowd doesn't like it, John, but I think that was a good call. You can't block the defender out. VCU, though, will double team that ball screen. 2 guys will blitz the basketball and can create turnovers in that situation.
Eastern Kentucky back with it, looking for the first double-digit lead, and they won't find it. As they turn it right back over, the usually sure-handed Glenn Cozy.
Poise against this press is so key. Eastern Kentucky has got to maintain their composure if they're going to have this lead.
And now we see the return of freshman Jordan Burgess. Midlothian zone. Burgess back for the first time after he suffered a knee sprain, and Burgess will pull the trigger immediately and get fouled for 3. First action on the floor for the freshman since Puerto Rico in that Florida State game, and not shy whatsoever.
Jordan Burgess, so talented. If you're a VCU fan, you'll recognize Jordan because he looks exactly like his older brother Bradford that was on the Final Four team and a wonderful player here at VCU. But Jordan was able to get his feet set for that jump shot and was the benefactor of JeQuan Lewis penetrating by that outstretched defense, getting in the lane, drawing the D, and then kicking to Burgess.
Just the second foul for Eastern Kentucky, however, problematic in the fact that both of those fouls have been on senior guard Marcus Lewis. And we see 2 subs at the scores table for the Colonels, and I have no doubt that one of those is coming on for Lewis. Burgess badly misses the first free throw and has one more coming. Deathly quiet. Check that 2-point shot. Burgess now one more coming as Mo Alley Cox returns. Jeff Johnson off the bench for the Colonels for the first time.
Both teams, John, will go deep into their bench. As we said, keys to the game. VCU needs good bench production. 28 points off their bench against Belmont. They were a key to the run that allowed them to be successful down in Nashville.
Just 1 of 3 for Burgess. Orlando Williams, the other entrant for the first time for Eastern Kentucky. They lead by 7, control the basketball. Johnson looking for the cutter, wasn't there. Opts for Cozy instead. They'll give go, and the big man for 3. Yes, sir.
And Jeff Johnson can pick and pop. West Virginia used to have a big man named Kevin Pittsnoggle when Jeff Neubauer was at West Virginia as an assistant. Jeff Johnson plays a similar role here for Eastern Kentucky.
Under 14 minutes to play in this first half. For the first time, a double-digit advantage. It belongs to the road team as VCU loses it again. Melvin Johnson saying, wait. That was slapped away from me. Officials didn't see it that way. Briante Weber will come back as Weber and JeQuan Lewis will play in tandem. Melvin Johnson unable to energize the Rams. And actually, they'll turn that back and give VCU possession again.
And here's those changing defenses we've talked about, John. Eastern Kentucky's now in a 2-3 zone, just trying to keep VCU off balance.
Changing defenses, even though they've had success in the man-to-man. Here comes Weber to the center of that zone. Hanging in the air, he could not complete that dribble drive. And in again flies Walden. And a replicate finish for the junior.
And the spacing for Eastern Kentucky is just really spreading out the VCU defense, which is not allowing them to help on the drive.
Here comes Corey Walden coming in, Brooks, and as I said, an identical play.
And if you notice, there was no weak side help because Eastern Kentucky will put 4 guys around the perimeter and bring their 5 guy out to ball screen. When they get the defense that spread, it's harder for a guy to guard a guy on the perimeter and then get over to help the drive. Good coaching by Jeff Neubauer and Eastern Kentucky.
You hear the name Eastern Kentucky and you don't necessarily think of a big-time program, but big-time expectations for this team this year as Brandenburg steps into a 3. Rams badly needed that make from their senior, and he is able to knock it down.
That's good ball movement by VCU. To touch on Eastern Kentucky's expectations, this is a good basketball team. Juniors and seniors in the starting lineup. Scoring is spread over many guys. They're not afraid to come into this environment.
Picked atop the Ohio Valley Conference and playing very well thus far. They lead by 9. VCU able to deflect that pass out of bounds, but the Colonels will keep it. Isaac McClone in the game for the first time. A freshman guard out of Lancaster, Ohio. Also off the Eastern Kentucky bench, Timmy Nip, who has made 3 starts this year. Shot clock under 10. Cozy trying to find somewhere. Step back 3. Nailed it.
That's why he's one of the best mid-major guards in the country. The confidence for the senior.
Jordan Burgess completely out of control and gets bailed out with the foul. We're under 12 minutes to play in the first half. Eastern Kentucky impressive thus far. That Eastern Kentucky would need to live by the 3. Look at that step back from Glenn Cozy. He loves that, knocks it down. And in fact, that was the 6th consecutive field goal made by the Colonels. They are playing very well here in Richmond, Virginia.
And John, at this point, they're 2 for 4 from behind the arc. If they continue that percentage, they're going to be successful tonight. They're also taking care of the basketball, which is resulting in good opportunities at the offensive end.
2 for 4 from beyond the arc, 7 of 7 from inside it. As Eastern Kentucky has come out swinging, they lead VCU by 12. How does VCU get themselves jump-started here?
More activity on defense. The reason Eastern Kentucky is 7 for 7 inside the arc is VCU's not playing help defense. They're not moving and reacting and helping their teammate when they get beat on the dribble.
All juniors and seniors on the floor for the Rams, with the exception of Jordan Burgess. This is the Big Four, as they have come to be known here in Richmond. Burgess loses it. Lost the handle, driving into traffic again.
Burgess looks a little rusty coming off that injury, but McGlone has got to take advantage of a fresh opportunity on the offensive end and make VCU pay. Because VCU has runs in them, John. If you don't value each possession, you better watch out, because VCU will come storming back. These
two teams, the top 2 programs in the nation at creating turnovers, and not surprisingly, we have a combined 9 thus far. 11:20 to play. Eastern Kentucky leading by 12. Weber had Burgess all alone in the corner, waited a long time to get it to him, and Burgess still wide open, missed the second attempt he's had from outside.
Did you see that block out right there by Timmy Nip? He kept Treveon Graham off the offensive glass, allowing Eastern Kentucky to go the other direction.
And it's Nip on the floor at the same time as Eric Stutz, who just had the brief touch. And again, coming in left side, Walden. Burgess was there and got too aggressive, and he fouled him.
And you're exactly right, John. He got too aggressive. He was in the right position. We had help side defense if you're a VCU fan in that possession, but you've got to be fundamentally sound in how you stop the basketball. Just build a wall. Make him shoot over top of you. Don't foul by trying to block the shot. But you always want that defender in the lane, just like Burgess was, but don't go for the block.
Forward with those arms, and you're going to get called for that every time. Walden goes to the free throw line, where he shoots at 82%. That's another thing these Colonels do very well, is shoot it from the free throw line. In fact, Walden last year made 27 consecutive free throws. That's how many they used to make you make before you could leave practice.
Yeah, that's why I was there so long. But Jeff
never improved.
Jeff Neubauer is just like John Beeline. They love recruiting guys that can shoot the basketball. They love recruiting guys that can pass the basketball, which is why they have excellent shooters and players that don't turn the basketball over.
Walden got them both. He has keyed this effort for Eastern Kentucky thus far. He has 8 points. Walden averaging just under 12 per contest thus far. Rams need to get going, trailing by 14. Weber knocked to the floor, trying to get it to Reddick, and instead throws it into the scorer's table.
And it's almost as if we're watching havoc on the other end for Eastern Kentucky. They're playing with more energy than VCU is right now to this point in the game.
Briante Weber, for one, Brooks, really seems to be struggling against it.
We talked about Eastern Kentucky keeping VCU off balance. They're really playing mind games with Briante Weber right now.
Eastern Kentucky has used some personnel off the bench, including Timmy Nip at the top. He's out there along with Orlando Williams and Isaac McGlone. All 3 reserves. 3 in the corner for Nip. Wouldn't fall. And Brandenburg the rebound for the Rams. Cox falling down, gets it to Johnson, and a much-needed triple.
Melvin Johnson is always a spark plug. He started the last 2 games, but coming off the bench tonight, if you don't stop penetration, guys like Melvin Johnson will be open for open jump shots.
Melvin Johnson, one of 5 Rams who averaged double digits in scoring. Johnson in his sophomore season, 10.5, and a big swat from the big man. Didn't create a possession, however, and a 3-point try from the corner, and that is down for the Colonels and Orlando Williams.
Second chance opportunities. Good activity corralling that block by Allie Cox and giving them a second chance.
Brandenburg elevates, cannot finish. Cozy, the long carom, doesn't have numbers, doesn't care, and excellent defense from Briante Weber.
Might have been a foul on the arm. I think Jeff Neubauer thinks so.
14-point lead. Another three open for Melvin Johnson, and he got that one too. VCU warming up from outside when they so desperately needed it.
Jeff Neubauer analyzing whether to call a timeout right now, but he knows he's got good senior leadership. He trusts these guys in moments like this.
Jim coming alive. Three again from the corner. This time Williams could not answer. VCU cleans it up and tries to go on one of those runs. Tries to enact that spurtability you love so much, Brooks. And a basketball kicked by Nip.
And we're in the midst of a havoc spurtability situation right here. The crowd is getting into it. Shaka's putting in fresh bodies, and he's trying to generate some momentum and some enthusiasm from his basketball team.
8:38 remaining in this first half. Treveon Graham returns along with Jared Guest and JeQuan Lewis. Reddick, Moali Cox, and Brandenburg will take a breather. Lob coming to Graham, and able to reel that in. Center of that zone, Treveon Graham lost the handle momentarily. VCU down under 15 now on the shot clock.
And it's so easy to see why they're a top team in the country and steal such active hands.
Heat check from Melvin Johnson wouldn't go down, but Treveon Graham the offensive board, and he'll go to the foul line.
And one way to kill a run is to block out and give VCU only one chance or no chance each possession. Treveon Graham gets so many points on the offensive glass. Eastern Kentucky's got to locate him and keep him away from getting these stickbacks.
At the poker table, we call that shot that Johnson just attempted the flyer hand. He just launched it from way out there. He almost hit it. Johnson clearly feeling the jump shot. Treveon Graham. This is the first free throw, uncharacteristic. Treveon, an 82% foul shooter.
And why players love playing for Shaka Smart is he gives them the confidence to let it fly.
Graham missed them both, and VCU now 1 of 5 at the free throw line. They continue to trail by 11. Excellent ball movement again for Eastern Kentucky. Johnson was open. He's got one from out there. Didn't want that one.
And Shaka's got a very quick lineup in the floor right now. Instead of playing a true center in Reddick, he's got Guest at the 5 and Graham at the 4.
Here comes Orlando Williams left side. Defense recovers, and VCU forces another empty trip. Here comes the freight train. Kick to the corner. Weber didn't want that shot. VCU will look elsewhere. Graham was calling for the basketball on the baseline. Lewis couldn't find him.
That's excellent transition defense by Eastern Kentucky. They withstand the full court pushing the basketball and made VCU pull it back out.
VCU now with less than 10 on the shot clock. Guest nearly lost it. Graham's got it. He's got 5 seconds to work with, and Graham is fouled hard and goes down harder. Graham appears to be okay. He's grimacing. Signs of life from VCU, but still the Colonels by double digits. VCU trying to find a spark plug. It is Melvin Johnson on this Virginia Federal Credit Union. Call Federal Credit Union. Assist. Call Federal Credit Union. Will be donating money to the Children's Hospital of VCU for every one of those assists. VCU Brooksbury needs a few more of them.
Weber's got one. Brandenburg's got one. But Shaka would like to see a lot more to cut into this lead.
Virginia Credit Union assist there. Melvin Johnson has been the one that has shot the Rams back within 11. They have trailed by as many as 14. Treveon Graham appears to be okay. He was fouled very hard going to that under 8 stoppage.
Right now, VCU getting beat in the hustle stats. They're being out-rebounded by 4. Eastern Kentucky's generated more steals. And then VCU's turned it over 6 times to this point.
Johnson left alone again, and he's got another one.
And he is growing up very quickly this season. He's becoming a guy that VCU is relying on to have success. He's that spark plug that they're lacking.
Melvin Johnson now shooting better than 40% from distance on the season. Rams back within 8. Just about 7 minutes left in this half. Johnson leads the way for VCU with 9, all from outside. Eastern Kentucky letting the shot clock dwindle. And now Walden straight on. He thought he had it. Back iron it out. Melvin Johnson the rebound. Johnson has been the instigator. Here comes Weber. Same spot, different shooter, different result as well. JeQuan Lewis couldn't connect. VCU getting some very good perimeter looks. Here comes Walden. This time comes in from the left side and spills onto the floor without the bucket. Treveon Graham left alone. Got it. And here come the Rams.
Unselfish basketball by VCU. Walden fell down at the other end, was late getting back. VCU was aware and found the open man. Unbelievable pressure defense coming out of that made basket, forcing the timeout by Eastern Kentucky.
Eastern Kentucky calls that timeout. No longer Brooks doing a good job taking this crowd out of it. The Rowdy Rams are awake here on Broad Street.
Well, you know it's going to come, John. The runs are going to come. It's how you handle these moments right now, whether you're going to have success in this building or not. So very well-timed 30-second timeout by Jeff Neubauer to keep his guys composed and have them really regroup and handle this pressure by VCU.
It was Melvin Johnson with the first 3 knocks. And here is the final of those 3. Johnson connects. All of them, Brooks, have been coming from the court.
And they've been rhythm jump shots as well. He's spotting up in the corner, just like you said. His feet are set before the ball even gets there, so he's a rhythm jump shooter right up into his shot.
The one-time 14-point lead has shrunk to just 5, 25-20. 9-0 run for VCU. And the Naismith Student Section of the Year has come to life here at the Siegel Center. 39th consecutive sellout here for VCU. Shaka Smart leaping in the air, trying to help his half-court defense.
Jeff Neubauer very smart, putting his senior guard Glenn Closey back into the game.
Walden thinks twice about the three-point look. Dangerous pass, but it got through to Lewis, and he can elevate with the best of them.
He can also finish well in the paint.
The lead is 7. Lewis weaving, and eventually we will get a foul. As JeQuan interrupted, this will put VCU in the bonus, so Lewis will head to the foul line and look to improve upon a 1-for-5 mark for the Rams thus far.
I've been so impressed with JeQuan Lewis, the freshman guard, to this point in the season. He's been a freshman. He's had his ups and downs, but he's shown glimpses of being a very good guard in the future for Shaka Smart.
Lewis will trigger the bonus. Saw Jeff Neubauer there briefly. He and Shaka Smart actually good friends. Seems like we say that each and every time someone comes in here to Richmond. Shaka Smart, a very likable guy, is the result of that logic.
He really is a likable guy, and he has great relationships with other head coaches. He was an assistant at Florida, and Clemson, and Akron, and all these different places where he hit the road recruiting and meeting a lot of these other coaches and developing relationships with them.
And a timeout necessary, as Corey Walden could not find anyone to get it in bounds to. And it will be the second Eastern Kentucky call timeout of this half. Something else to note, Brooks, VCU has committed just 3 fouls in this first half.
They've been smart defensively. Shaka has talked all year about reacting and adapting to how the referees are calling the game. To this point, they've been smart. I think we've also seen them start to attack the rim more in transition, and they've drawn fouls and gotten to the free throw line, which has allowed them to get back into this game.
Eastern Kentucky came out. They did punch VCU in the mouth. VCU has responded. You see the stop before on the penetration. That time Walden gets it to Lewis and able to take advantage. But after opening up 9 of 11 from the floor for the Colonels, they are just 1 of their last 8.
And the reason they're 1 of 8 is VCU is playing so much harder now. Their pressure has gone up 2 levels, and they're using the full court run and jump press now.
Still, however, Eastern Kentucky by 5. Trouble immediately for Nip, and he just spikes it off the shin of Javante Reddick.
And as a coach, you never want your player to catch the ball that deep in the corner. You notice Eastern Kentucky's now spacing out their offensive players, making it tougher for VCU to trap the basketball.
VCU has Reddick as the point man on this press. And Lewis able to squirm free. Eastern Kentucky does get it to the half court. That's Cozy with just outside of 5 to play in this first half. VCU led 2-0. Eastern Kentucky has led since. And a wide open look. Reddick closed out, but the rainbow will fall from Nip.
That thing went through the rafters.
Great adjustment by Timmy Nip. I said wide open. 6'9" Reddick came from nowhere. Nip handled it better than you and I did.
Well, he was one of the best shooters coming out of the state of Kentucky in high school. He was a Gatorade Player of the Year his senior year, but had his feet set. And how about the big fella, Eric Stutz, with the assist on that shot?
Stutz is back from a foot problem that actually had Timmy Nip in the starting lineup for the first 3 games of the season. Nip back to coming off the bench. Big impact there. Lead is 8 for the Colonels. Weber coming in, kicking out. Graham, the answer. Indeed.
And VCU is successful against that 2-3 zone when they move the basketball and they attack the paint. Give Briante Weber another assist.
Treveon Graham, 70% from the floor the last 2 games for VCU. The lead is once again 5, and Brooks, we were anticipating an exciting ball game, and I think we're going to get one as Reddick nearly had the open floor steal. And the look of anguish is because he wanted to bring the pain and was denied.
And that was the excitement he was getting ready to bring. This place would have exploded if he had gotten that dunk.
Instead, it's the 4th team foul against VCU.
And if you notice, Eastern Kentucky really uses their 5-man in their offense. They bring Eric Stutz up to the top of the key, and now Shaka is really denying that pass, making it difficult on him.
Here comes Stutz right to the cup. Good look from Walden, and Stutz, excellent ball control. Lead is 7. Back to the paint where Eastern Kentucky dominated early. VCU been getting it done from outside, and now it's Brandenburg.
Such a key point in the game right here. This last 4 minutes of the half is when VCU, we've seen them make a lot of runs this year. Got to have composure if you're Eastern Kentucky.
VCU surging from outside. Briante Weber pokes that one away from Walden. It was Eastern Kentucky early, but VCU surging to back within 4. The favorites in the Ohio Valley and the favorites in the A-10 going toe-to-toe in the first half. And as of late, VCU shooting their way back in it, as we just saw, Brooks.
And Rob Brandenburg is a fan favorite. When he scores over 11 points, they've won 21 out of the last 22 times.
Glenn Cozy gets the headlines and all the accolades, at least in the early going for Eastern Kentucky, but it's been Corey Walden who has really set the pace for the Colonels.
Corey Walden has shown his experience and poise tonight against this pressure. Really took advantage of that high-pressure defense in the first half by VCU, overextending and finding those drives and backdoor cuts to the rim.
There's Walden inbounding to Cozy. Neither of those 2 players came off the floor at all against NC State. Last time out for the Colonels. That was their roughest game of the season. VCU on a 17-7 run. Here comes Walden right at the Rams, and he will draw another VCU foul.
And that's the experience and composure we talked about with Corey Walden. He recognizes what defense VCU's in man-to-man, seeing that they're really playing wide and denying everything, and then taking advantage of a mismatch against Jared Guest, the big fella, and getting to the rim.
It was Guest that lost, and Brandenburg tried to help, and it was Brandenburg who picked up the foul. So Walden to the line. As I outlined, he doesn't miss very often from there. Imagine the free throw shooting contest he could have with Glenn Cozy.
They probably have that in practice, but both of these guys, what a wonderful tandem of shooting the basketball in the backcourt for Jeff Neubauer.
Walden, friendly iron on the second, and he is the first for either team to get to double digits. He has 10 to lead the way. Melvin Johnson, the top scorer for VCU with 9. VCU trailing by 6. 3:15 to play. JeQuan Lewis picked up his dribble. He's in trouble. Nobody helping. Reddick comes over and able to save this possession by firing it off of Stutz.
Eastern Kentucky sticking with that man-to-man defense, a high-pressure man-to-man, really denying passes and making it difficult on the dribbler.
It was Isaac McClone who was making life difficult there for JeQuan Lewis. Lewis picked it up, the dribble that is, before the rest of the team thought he would, and no one really all that urgent to come over and bail him out. The VCU does keep this possession alive, trailing by 6. Under 3 to play, and down to 15 on the shot clock as Brandenburg hoists, cannot hit, and the rebound belongs to Eastern Kentucky and Corey Walden.
Fantastic effort by Corey Walden to secure that rebound for his team.
Here comes Walden again, and he got VCU with the same take to the hole.
And one of the reasons he's getting to the rim is because of his shooting ability. They have to respect the fact that Corey Walden can make that outside jump shot, which is allowing him to drive past the defender.
That's the 4th field goal from in close for Walden. 3 of them have ended that way. Carving in at an angle from the left side and emerging under the rim on the right side. VCU has fell victim to it each and every time. High screen from Reddick. Johnson weaving his way to the bucket, out of control. Reddick nearly the foul, and something to be said for persistence.
And that's the activity Shaka Smart wants out of his big man. Javante Reddick is a sleeping giant. When he comes awake, he is such a difference maker for the Rams. He can spur a run by himself.
Under 2 to play. Rams trailing by 6. And a foul up high on JeQuan Lewis. As you mentioned with Javante Reddick, Rams need him to be this type of player. He wanted to come back in and hammer this putback. Brooks wasn't able to do so.
Just the effort to get back up off the ground after the miss and finish. He's the quickest big guy on the court, and he needs to play like that every possession.
Rams within 6. How close do they need to be at the half?
The Rams? If I'm Eastern Kentucky, I'm not comfortable with any lead I have in this building. I know Shaka wants to pull away, but Eastern Kentucky always needs to be alert.
Colonels with the 6-point lead. In comes Cozy left side. Couldn't get it, and the Rams have it. Johnson, he wanted that shot, wasn't able to set in time. Lewis steps into the 3. Big shot from the freshman. And VCU cuts it to a 3-point advantage. This is as close as they have been since it was 4-2 for Eastern Kentucky in the 2nd minute of this half. And a steal. Rams coming in with the whole platoon, and somehow Walden able to steal it away anyway. Rams had 4 on 1, and JeQuan Lewis cannot believe it.
Shaka Smart's thinking, why haven't we been playing this hard all half? You never know when the double team is coming. And Treveon Graham baiting the ball handler, and then bam, he's on with the double team, blitzing the ball, and that creates havoc.
And here comes that steal, and I know Shaka Smart. I asked him personally, did it affect this team to not have the crowd in Puerto Rico, whether a positive crowd or a hostile one? He refused to use that as an excuse. But Brooks, right after that 3 for JeQuan Lewis, you can feel a rush in this building when this crowd gets into it like they just were.
This is an unbelievable home court advantage. VCU plays so well in the Siegel Center.
Under a minute to tie it. Graham short. Stutz was shoving with Reddick, but able to bat it in the lane, and Kentucky will scrap for that rebound. Eastern Kentucky pulls it out of there.
They're kind of playing like Kentucky tonight, John.
They've got the athletes. Now the open floor. Deflection into the backcourt. But Walden keeps it alive. 3 in the corner on the way. Graham elevates for the rebound. Shot clock is off. Rams can have the last say. To heck with that. Lewis is feeling it. And we're square.
Spurtability.
Rams raining from outside. 8th 3-point make of the half. We thought the next stoppage would be the intermission. Jeff Neubauer cannot wait that long.
Just fun to watch, John. Fun seeing the enthusiasm and the passion and how VCU plays with such confidence.
VCU does never hold for the flash out of the half.
They don't believe in that. If they have an open shot, they're going to pull the trigger, and they're going to shoot with confidence. JeQuan Lewis has only been in Richmond for a few months, but he's already into the Havoc system, and he's playing the way Shaka Smart would want him.
Really like this timeout for Jeff Neubauer. He's got to try to get at least one field goal's worth of momentum back for the Colonels into the locker room. They've outplayed VCU most of this half, but just a few minutes have slipped away from the Colonels, and in that time, VCU has snuck right back into it.
And he's going to want his Eastern Kentucky team to just hold for one shot and get a good look here. But on the flip side, he's going to have 5 Rams all over top of him. And how has VCU come back in this game? They've generated turnovers. They've scored in transition. Eastern Kentucky is not getting back as quick as they were at the beginning of the game, locating shooters and contesting shots.
36 all. There is the leader of the Peppas. It's always tough to decide whether he exerts more energy than the actual players do. We'll call it a tie. Rams pressuring the inbounder. And a steal. VCU has it back. And Weber will pull it back out. I said they'll never hold for the last shot. They're going to do it now. Just to turn me into a fibber. 10 seconds to go. Shaka wants the last say in a half that began very slowly. Graham kick to Weber. 3 to go. Weber slicing in. Lob for Graham. And at the horn, VCU will grab the lead for the first time since they led 2-0. Eastern Kentucky dominated that half, but you would never know it. VCU by a pair at the break. VCU led 2-0, then didn't lead again until this bucket closes the half as Weber, the lob to Graham. VCU back in front on the strength of a 16-6 run. They lead Eastern Kentucky 38-36. John Laser back with you courtside, and now very pleased to welcome in Scott Ridgely from Virginia 529 College Savings Plan. Scott, thanks for being with us here at the Hat.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, I know that actually my primary job is with the Richmond Flying Squirrels, and we work very closely with you guys, so I'm familiar with Virginia 529, but fill our viewers in on just what a great program it is that you offer.
Well, Virginia 529 is the state of Virginia's tax-advantaged college savings plan, helping families prepare for that future higher education expense. You know, kids, as they grow up, their cost of college is rising, and using our plan really help you prepare and get ready for what's coming down the road.
Well, this is the holiday season, they tell me, and it's the shopping season. What a lot of people don't know is that Virginia 529 plans make excellent gifts.
It is, and we recommend that instead of giving the kid the 100th toy for Christmas, maybe $25 or $50 for their future college savings accounts, or to really prepare them down the road or get them on the path towards a college degree. So it does make a great gift. The end of the year is an important time. You have a tax deduction if you make a contribution before December 31st, up to $4,000 for Virginia residents.
Scott Ridgely with us. And Scott, I think a lot of people, I know my parents were this way back a long time ago when I was getting ready to go to college. They were frightened somewhat by that tuition and by saving for college. And I think that's true for a lot of families. How can Virginia 529 and having a plan take that fear away?
Well, it's the matter of getting started and starting to save and not relying on student loans, because let's face it, not many kids are going to get a full scholarship and a full ride, and parents really start to think that they're going to have all this free student loans and tuition, and it's going to be free money for them. In reality, it's a package of student loans, and it's going to cost them a lot more in the long run. So the more money you can set aside ahead of time, start with $25, start with $50, a little bit here and there can add up, and that's just less money that you have to take out in the long run.
And one thing that other people should know is that you can enroll now and pay later, as I understand.
Right, so with our prepaid plan, you can prepay future tuition and mandatory fees at Virginia public colleges. You don't have to get started until May 1st with payments, so you can lock things in now, get the pricing to secure that future education for your kids, and you don't really have to start paying, so your Christmas bills, all those other expenses aren't going to get in the way.
Scott, we see the excitement that this building and this basketball program are capable of there on that run for VCU at the end of the half. Why does VCU Athletics make such a great partner for Virginia 529?
Well, Virginia 529 loves working with colleges across the state, because we are a statewide program, and we try to work with all the different universities to really have an opportunity to reach out to those fans of these schools that have a positive association with college and the thought of going to school in the future. So it's a great school, great university, and a great opportunity for us.
Scott, thanks so much for being here and being a great partner of VCU. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Scott Ridgely from Virginia, 529. VCU were down by 14. They're now up by 2 at the half. We continue at the half. VCU with a 2-point lead on Eastern Kentucky and Brooks. We're going to take a look at some of the numbers from the first half. It was a very quiet start from the Rams, and you can see they literally shot themselves back into this game. The 9 3-point field goals made is what really stands out to you on that graphic there.
VCU came alive, and they came alive from behind the 3-point line. 9 for 16, and they got open shots in transition as they pushed the basketball.
How about just 6 turnovers for either side? Of course, VCU comes in averaging just over 20 per night, while Eastern Kentucky averages just under 20, but both teams did a pretty nice job taking care of the basketball.
They did. It's a little misleading because Eastern Kentucky had a hard time against their pressure. They didn't turn the ball over as much, but they couldn't get into their offense because of the pressure defense by VCU.
Bench points advantage there to VCU, and that was one of your keys to the game.
VCU came alive, and as their crowd got into the game, the bench was coming in and hitting shots. This was havoc. We saw it late in that half.
And as we saw from VCU there, they've shot their way into it from the outside. How can they get some easier makes, however, from the inside very quickly?
Well, Eastern Kentucky's got to take care of the basketball, and they got to get back to getting points in the paint. But the first thing in order to do that is to beat that pressure from VCU.
VCU by 2 at the half on the strength of a 16-6 run. We'll show you some of those highlights on the other side. Plenty of action to review from the first half. Eastern Kentucky, Brooks got out to the quick run. They had that early 10-0 run. Most of the highlights that we're going to see for the Colonels, however, came during that opening 10-minute stretch.
And then the game turned because VCU picked up the energy, shared the basketball. But early on, it was great ball movement by Eastern Kentucky that set up jump shots from Jeff Johnson. We had Walden driving to the basket.
And the Rams shooting their way back in it from outside. You see a Brandenburg make there, but it was this guy, Melvin Johnson, that really ignited that eventual VCU push, along with JeQuan Lewis.
He ignited VCU, and he ignited this crowd. And as the game went on and the crowd got into it, VCU started playing more transition basketball and getting more open looks. These highlights look like it's in the half-court set, but it's a byproduct of VCU coming at Eastern Kentucky 100 miles an hour, sharing the basketball and getting open looks.
Eastern Kentucky certainly didn't back off. You saw that Rainmaker 3 from Nip, and as promised, here's JeQuan Lewis. The freshman had a pair of triples in that first half. VCU with 9 3-point makes. In fact, 9 of 16 from out there. Not as though Eastern Kentucky not shooting the basketball well either. They're 4 of 10 from 3-point land. VCU with a surge, but we've got ourselves a good one at the half. Two teams have returned to the floor. VCU took momentum into the locker room, Brooks, but it was certainly Eastern Kentucky that made a lot of noise early. How can the Colonels start this second half, if not entirely on the same run? That might be asking a lot, but to at least make a run and try to establish control again.
The first thing they got to do is get the ball up the court against the press from VCU, showing composure and poise, and then get into that motion offense again, sharing the basketball, which generated a lot of easy opportunities early in the game.
Revisiting some of the keys from this game that we outlined before this game started for VCU, you said they needed to have that attack mentality offensively. Didn't feel like they did early. They got there eventually.
And their defense creates offense, John. As their defense picked up and their pressure picked up, they got better opportunities on the offensive end. And that's what havoc is. Shaka was very disappointed in the effort his guys had at the beginning of the half, and he got after him, and they picked it up. Treveon Graham, active hands, coming in for the double team and really getting after the play.
Very rare that an opponent is able to take the crowd out of it. The crowd was a little bit quieter than we're used to in the first few minutes of the game, but that steal that you just saw there was late in the first half, and that was about the peak for the decibel level in the first half. And I made no joke about this. This team surges on that energy from their supporters.
A lot of people have watched this year's VCU team and said they don't have the same spark as teams have had in the past. But when they play in the Siegel Center, this crowd really rallies them and gets them fired up. And we saw that spark later on in the half. If you're Shaka Smart, you want your guys to do that for 40 minutes. But let's see if they can continue that here in the second 20.
Corey Walden was exceptionally impressive in that first half. Walden leads all scorers with 12 points, in fact. Glenn Cozy, who came in averaging 19 points, not quiet entirely in that first half, but held in check to some degree with 5 points. VCU being led by sophomore Melvin Johnson. All 9 of his points to lead the Rams coming from outside. As VCU by a pair, 38-36. Again, the biggest lead that VCU has had tonight has been 2 points. They've had it twice at 2-0, and right now at 38-36. Eastern Kentucky, meanwhile, was up by as many as 14.
And these first 4 minutes of the second half are really going to determine, in my opinion, the fate of Eastern Kentucky. Can they come out with the same energy, enthusiasm that they started the game with? Or are they going to come out somewhat timid and shocked like they were at the end of the half?
Another thing worth noting is the absence of Marcus Lewis, the ultra-athletic guard out of Streamwood, Illinois, for much of that first half. He was gone with 2 fouls. Lewis returns as both teams will send out their original starting 5. Cozy, Walden, Lewis, Johnson, and Stutz for the Colonels. Weber, Brandenburg, Graham, Reddick, and Allie Cox for VCU.
And you noticed, you made note that Glenn Cozy didn't have the first half that maybe he would have liked. Shaka Smart prides himself on taking away his opponent's best player. That's why Weber's on Cozy. And as we see, early foul here in the second half. You got to come out moving your feet, ready to play basketball.
Rob Brandenburg guilty of that infraction, a long ways from the basket. Reached in on Corey Walden. Rams are not in foul trouble. That is, however, the second on Brandenburg. Eastern Kentucky setting it up. Stutz flings it across the court to Lewis and then back outside. Rams chasing in a man-to-man. And it's Treveon Graham on Glenn Cozy. Great look to Stutz in the finish off the window.
Great vision by Cozy, finding Stutz rolling to the basket.
Cozy averages more than 5 assists per game. Here comes Reddick just powering his way to the bucket. Won't get it to go, but he will go to the foul line.
And the combination of VCU attacking on the perimeter behind the arc and Reddick attacking the paint is the balance that Shaka Smart's looking for. It's not a surprise that he's trying to establish his big man early here in the second half.
That foul was on Glenn Cozy. It is his first. All square at 38. Now, I know Shaka Smart and VCU would love to pull away. Same could be said of Jeff Neubauer, but I'm kind of excited about the potential of a race to the finish here. Both these teams are capable of that spurt ability. It's not a word, by the way, but for those that have heard Brooks and I bring you a game before, we've at least made an attempt to turn it into one. Javante Reddick's free throw woes continue this year, continues to shoot less than 50% at the foul line. VCU just 3 of 9 tonight from the stripe. Now we have a wet spot on the floor, and that young man turning into a superstar tonight. Student section giving the Puritan Clean Crew kid a nice ovation for that effort.
Maybe that's good luck for Reddick to knock this one down.
I don't think Reddick slipped on that free throw. Wasn't right where his foot was, but either way, he cleans it up. The Rams have the lead by 1. Just getting started here in half number 2. Rams pressuring in the backcourt, but Walden gets Brandenburg off balance, nearly goes tumbling to the floor. Able to keep his footing.
An excellent spacing by Eastern Kentucky against the pressure. The more spaced they are, the harder it is to double team.
Cozy wide open, and an outstanding shooter missed one from the corner.
And immediately an Eastern Kentucky assistant yelling for them to get back on defense. 5 guys have got to get back and protect the paint.
Reddick into a herd, and Eastern Kentucky with the group mentality takes it away. They've got numbers on the other end. Great look to Lewis, and Lewis dumps it home.
And when 5 guys get back, you've got 5 defenders waiting for VCU to try and execute. VCU's not as good in the half court in these situations as they are in transition.
Eastern Kentucky with the lead back by 1. Brandenburg finds Weber in the corner. Weber pull up, down. As is Stutz. We get a whistle as he hits the deck. Basket's going to count. VCU by a point. And I think they're just calling for their hero of the last couple of moments as the clean kid again back on the floor.
Stutz and Mo Alley Cox and Reddick, Treveon Graham, they are battling in the paint. It's really becoming a physical game, fighting for those rebounds inside.
The reason the officials right on top of that is because they know that we're doing battle in the backcourt. You can't let that go and let the clean kid come out while we're down on the other end. Although this time, Eastern Kentucky does get it across in a hurry. 2 minutes gone by here in the second half. It's a 1-point affair. Treveon Johnson has been very quiet in this game tonight. He lays it in the lap of Lewis. Crowd trying to get into it quicker in this half. Stutz looked like he had a good look at it. Instead, the kick, long attempt. That's off the mark, and Reddick cleans it up for VCU. Here come the Rams. Brandenburg is blocked by Stutz. That was a backhand swat that time for the Colonel's big man. 3-point try, Cozy, right in the eye of Javante Reddick.
He sensed the mismatch, had the big man guarding him on the perimeter, had enough space to pull the trigger on that jump shot, but the flow of the game right now is back into a situation where Eastern Kentucky can be successful.
Lob it down to Cox. He should have brought that down to the floor, and the mistake will lead to an empty trip, but Eastern Kentucky gives it right back.
And Jeff Neubauer applauding his team. They're handling the pressure now. They're settling in and playing Eastern Kentucky basketball where they're getting a chance to execute in the half court and run their motion offense.
Eastern Kentucky on the Cozy 3, which was his second field goal from distance and third in totality, leading by a pair. Cozy, who had 4 consecutive games of 20-plus points prior to 14 against NC State, and now Graham is being hassled up top, and they'll call a foul on Stutz.
I've been so impressed with Stutz today. A big man. He's hedged the ball screen well. He's been active. He's made Reddick's time tonight very difficult. He's been a factor in this game. His activity and his toughness has been a factor for Eastern Kentucky to this point.
Stutz is the only starter that was not a junior college transfer for Jeff Neubauer. This is 3rd full season in this Eastern Kentucky program. 73rd career start tonight, and he plays with the poise of a veteran.
And for fans of college basketball, you're watching 2 teams that have a lot of veteran players. You watch a Kentucky or North Carolina, a lot of those players are young freshmen and sophomores. These guys are older young men.
Graham with the spin and the bucket.
And that was an older play right there. Treveon Graham showing poise against the pressure in that possession.
Graham almost looked a bit frustrated there. He picked up his dribble prior to that attempt, and the rest of the Rams were standing around. Long look for Cozy from way out there.
And Glenn is cozy wherever he's shooting the basketball. Look at the range on that jump shot.
Here comes Weber, blocked by Stutz. Weber poked it off the official. It stayed in bounds off his chest, and no 3 for Johnson. That would have been an assist to the pecs there, but instead, it's out of bounds, leading to the under-16 timeout. It's going to be a fun finish. Eastern Kentucky by 3. I think a lot of people in this building thought that VCU, after their run to the half, was going to run away from Eastern Kentucky. And Brooks, that guy, Glenn Cozy's got other ideas.
One of the best guards in the country, as we said in the opening, and he's not going to be intimidated. They just played at NC State, and he played with confidence down in Raleigh, and he's doing the same thing tonight here in Richmond.
Cozy had just 5 points in the first half. He's already got 6 points on 2 outside makes in the second half. 11 for the night. Eastern Kentucky has a 3-point advantage on VCU. Rams will bring on Jared Guest, Jordan Burgess, and Melvin Johnson out of the timeout. Meanwhile, it'll be status quo for Eastern Kentucky. Cozy, Walden, Lewis, Johnson, and Stutz for the Colonels. Lewis working on Burgess and just blows right past. Lewis had a YouTube sensation of a dunk last year. Shaka Smart was talking about it this week during his media availability. Considered one of the top 20 dunkers in all of college basketball. We haven't seen him rip one yet tonight. Shot clock under 10 now. Posey working on Weber. Can't find anywhere to go. 1 second. He's not going to get it off, or did he? He did. Didn't draw iron. And VCU made that switch. We've seen different defenders on Cozy. VCU into their best that time.
Played the ball screen very well that possession. As Cozy came off, help was there to contest the shot. But Neubauer is not upset with the fact that his team used clock, took care of the basketball, and they're grinding VCU down somewhat. They're not getting into the up and down, helter-skelter game that Shaka Smart would like.
Johnson was hot from the corner, and Cozy closed on him. VCU will look elsewhere. It's Burgess from the corner. We're even again.
That corner jump shot, feeder set, rhythm shot. VCU's going to make those at a high percentage, as we've seen tonight.
Burgess was short on his first 2 attempts in the first half, getting his legs back tonight after a 4-game absence. This is Cozy, blows by Brandenburg, drops it back out for Walden, and this one down.
Did you notice how the ball went from side to side? Then you got Cozy attacking the closeout, drawing the defense, and finding the open shooter. That's good, unselfish basketball for Eastern Kentucky.
Walden answers Burgess, and it's the Colonels by 3. Weber coming over to pay us a visit. Fouled along his way. That foul is on Treveon Johnson. That is his 3rd. We now have a pair of Colonels with 3 fouls. Both Lewis and Johnson each have 3. And Lewis guarding Jordan Burgess. Playing with those 3 fouls with 14:21 to go here. JeQuan Lewis will come back out to run the show for VCU. Eastern Kentucky by 3. On the curl, Johnson, give and go. Graham alone, and it spins out for Treveon Graham. Three-point game. Eastern Kentucky, who lost their one-time 14-point lead, trying to establish a lead of more than 1 possession. We've stayed within those confines thus far in the second half. Lewis working on Lewis. Here comes Cozy, just hangs in the air. Missed that shot. I think Cozy was the most surprised, and it's knocked out of bounds by Eastern Kentucky. Jeff Neubauer didn't see it that way.
But Jeff Neubauer, like I said, is happy with the fact that Eastern Kentucky is getting this into a half-court basketball game. This is a manageable game for them at this point.
Haven't had the pleasure of meeting Jeff Neubauer, but he's got the demeanor of a very jovial guy. Been clapping enthusiastically on negative outcomes for his team on possessions. Backdoor pass! The big flush!
That's what Allie Cox does so well. He hides behind the defense and accepts those passes off penetration. When he goes up to the rim, he's going to finish strong.
Excellent outlet pass leads to an easy one on the other end as Johnson responds to the Allie Cox dunk. I don't think Allie Cox was a superior hide-and-seeker when he was a child. Got some size to him. Here comes Graham. He's shoved off the block. No call, and Graham missed it badly. Here come the Colonels, and the block from the backside, and a foul on Burgess. And the boos raining down here from Verizon Wireless Arena.
I don't think they liked that call from Roger Ayers, but it was a textbook 3-on-2 fast break. Point guard attacking the free throw line, drawing the defense, and finding Marcus Lewis.
Roger Ayers actually officiated your high school games, you were telling me. He was over here at the half giving you some grief as Lewis misses the free throw.
That's right.
You've had words with Mr. Ayers a few times, I'm sure.
He's a Roanoke, Virginia native. He called a lot of Patrick Henry High School games when I was growing up, and now he's an ACC ref. I see him with Coach K on the sidelines all the time.
Lewis, one more coming, shooting into the Rowdy Rams. Undeterred, he makes it a 2-possession game. This is the first time either team is led by more than a single possession in the second half. And that lead belongs to Eastern Kentucky. 4-point lead for the Colonels. We've gotten the game we thought we might. JeQuan Lewis taking it at Walden, kicking corner. Melvin Johnson, too strong. And here come the Colonels' numbers again. Cozy flying in, and Burgess this time. Excellent defense, and the Rams will fly. Johnson again left side. Miscommunication between the sophomore and the freshman Lewis.
Better discipline on defense that possession by Burgess, not going for the block.
Eastern Kentucky doing a heck of a job getting out in front of this VCU defense. They've had numbers quite a few times in the second half. 4-point lead in the ball for Eastern Kentucky, but into that dead man's corner is Walden, and wisely he will take an Eastern Kentucky timeout. Will stretch it out. Eastern Kentucky building to their lead. They lead VCU by 4.
Barnes & Noble at VCU is your Ram Gear headquarters. Located right across from the Siegel Center, there isn't a store in Central Virginia that carries more VCU apparel and gifts. With performance wear from brands like Nike or Under Armour, a kids section with t-shirts and baby items, and a full range of black and gold spirit wear like sweatshirts, hats, jerseys, and specialized adult sweaters and tees. Open early on game day and now with a Starbucks cafe so you can snack up before you watch the Rams play. Barnes & Noble at VCU, on Broad or online at VCUBooks.com.
For years, homeowners have asked for a service plan that covers all the major systems of their home. Today, Woodfin is proud to introduce the revolutionary new Whole Home Protection Plan.
Does that include dog houses?
Woodfin's comprehensive Whole Home Protection Plan covers your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical systems. Plus, we can fully customize a plan to meet your home's specific needs.
The only number you'll ever need to remember, 730-5000.
Woodfin. VCU basketball on Ram TV is presented by the Virginia Credit Union, the exclusive financial institution of Ram TV, Bruce's Super Auto Body, American Family Fitness, CarMax, the VCU Center for Sport Leadership, by Nationwide Insurance and your local Nationwide agent, and by the VCU Medical Center, where every day there is a new discovery.
Virginia Credit Union assist here. Good look to Mo Alley Cox, Brooksbury. However, Eastern Kentucky answered that bucket very rapidly, added to it, and it's the Colonels with the 4-point lead, 12:09 to play.
And the Colonels are not going away. They've got two veteran guards that have come out this half handling the VCU pressure well.
VCU, in fact, only had the lead on a couple of occasions. The Colonels have led most of the night tonight. They've got the rock in the hands of Walden, and he is fouled by Javante Reddick. And that will take us right back to the break. Under 12 minutes here to go. VCU trailing at home to Eastern Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky putting the Rams' 15-game December win streak on the line. Rams have not lost a game in December since 2010. They trail the Colonels by 4. Eastern Kentucky has certainly come in tonight and executed their game plan, Brooksbury, very, very nicely.
They really have. Jeff Neubauer had his guys ready for what they're going to expect tonight. They were well trained. They've moved the ball well on offense. They had that one stretch where Havoc got to them, but for the most part, they've dictated the flow of this game, and Glenn Cozy has been one of the main reasons, the senior point guard.
Cozy shed Lewis long enough to receive the inbounds. And Eastern Kentucky finds the backdoor cutter. It's Walden, and he lays in the bunny.
That's a great set play from Jeff Neubauer. Out of the timeout, freeing up Walden for the easy one.
Lead is 6 for Eastern Kentucky. Colonels leading this second half by 8 points after VCU had snatched the lead away. Going to the intermission. Javante Reddick, long two, and he got it.
And the reason Reddick was open was Stutz really blitzed that ball screen hard, drawing him away from Reddick. Reddick did a good job of finding the open spot and the open shot. And we see Weber backslapping the basketball. He does it better than anyone else in the country.
Timmy Nip had to come back and bail out Eastern Kentucky, having all kinds of trouble getting it inbounds. Nip's not the guy they want bringing it up, and Weber nearly exposed wide.
Can't ever drop your guard against VCU. When you think you've beat the press, guys are coming from behind you to get that steal.
4-point lead and the ball for Eastern Kentucky. Still a ton of time left in this affair. Nearly 11 minutes. Here comes Walden, fearless again. Reddick blocked his shot. Looked like Javante was resigned to the fact that he was going to be called for a foul. It never came. Another try is a long one from Nip, and that miss corralled by Weber. Here come the Rams. Elevation three. Brandenburg. 1-point game.
Set up by the assist from Briante Weber. Looking left, coming back right to Brandenburg. Beautiful transition play.
11 3-point makes for VCU. Here comes Cozy up high over Allie Cox. A little tap dance and down. A fun style tonight. Cozy coming right back to answer the Brandenburg triple. 3-point lead. All alone Brandenburg. Halfway down and out. All Rams around it, and Brandenburg gets it back. Lewis wants it. That one halfway down and out. Mo Alley Cox had his paws on it, and a foul's coming on the Colonels.
They're keeping that possession alive with effort and activity, moving the basketball for easy looks. Alley Cox is a handful inside, John.
Jimmy Nip saying, hey, he came from behind there and over the top. And the official said, I'm not calling it on him. Look at him.
Well, Timmy Nip has got to do a better job of moving Alley Cox away. If you're standing underneath the basket, you're not going to get that over the back call.
Third chance for the Rams here. Both Brandenburg and JeQuan Lewis nearly 3-point makes. VCU now 11 of 23 from outside.
And Eastern Kentucky going back to that 2-3 zone.
Step through, Weber lost it. And it's going to be a bucket for Lewis. One of the top dunkers in the country with a two-handed finish.
He put his chin on the rim on that one, John.
5-point lead for the Eastern Kentucky Colonels on the road here. Graham, nobody around him. He'll take it in. Had to hang, and what about that finish?
Graham flashing to the high post, turning and attacking. Beautiful split from the double team. Boy, that's that same wet spot we saw earlier in the game.
And Cozy slipping, but had the presence of mind to call a timeout as he did. The VCU bench, including Shaka Smart, is up in arms and irate, as is this biased group of onlookers. The official was right on the scene to make that call, and you're right, as we look at him cleaning up that same slick spot. VCU and Shaka Smart not content with the explanation they're being given.
And the interesting thing about that call is you're not allowed to call timeout when you're jumping out of bounds. So as he slipped and was falling down to the court, I don't quite understand how that could be a timeout.
Take another look at it here. He goes down to the ground, and the crowd wants to travel, and you can see there, Brooks, that he didn't get that hand signal for the timeout until he was already laying on his hip. Potentially, we didn't have audio. He yelled timeout, but that doesn't work.
I think Shaka's got a very good argument to make with the referee. It looked like a travel from my vantage point.
So it will be Colonels basketball. Shaka Smart cooling down, you can see. Now, I had called for this a couple of minutes before. Marcus Lewis in the open floor. He goes way up there, but Brooks, I'm going to have to say, I'm a little bit disappointed. I know he's got a lot more in the tank than that.
Smart play. He got his 2 points, John.
No.
That's what you got to get.
I jest, of course. Marcus Lewis with that dunk. So it's Colonels basketball. Crowd continues to voice their displeasure in mass here at the sold-out Siegel Center. But we'll move on, and Cozy working in tandem with Isaac McGlone off the bench. And again, they're crying for a 10-second call. Shaka Smart leaping in the air and throwing his hands to the heavens. 15 seconds on the shot clock. McGlone into the corner for Cozy. Ratcheting up the intensity. Under 9 minutes to play. Baseline jumper from Cozy. No. Graham lost his man, and fortunately for VCU, he got away with it. Oh, it's become a house of hostility here. VCU feeling slighted a couple times, but they have it. An opportunity to draw within one or tie it. Weber, left side. Brandenburg again. That one was short all the way. You could see it out of his hand. And here comes Lewis. Ball fake in. They're going to call Weber for the foul. And Lewis will go to the foul line.
We've talked about Eastern Kentucky's transition defense all game, but now VCU is not getting back efficiently. They're giving up too many easy chances at the other end. Referees are really letting these guys play too, John. They're letting this game become physical. Let them be active on defense.
Lewis with the ball fake. Weber wasn't fooled by it because he wasn't looking at it, as you could see, but called for trying to reach in and pick the pocket. Lewis gets the first free throw. The lead is 4 for Eastern Kentucky. Now, the key to the game you mentioned for Eastern Kentucky was living by the three, and in fact, it's been VCU that's been living by the three, Brooks, as they've gone a bit cold. They've fallen behind by 5 now.
They really have, and the fact that Eastern Kentucky's been changing defenses sort of disrupted the flow of what they're trying to do, has knocked them out of sync a little bit. They're not getting the same open rhythm shots like they did in the first half.
Eastern Kentucky by 5. Lob coming for Mo Alley Cox. This time he pulls it down and will draw the foul. In the first half, we saw Mo Alley Cox try to change his direction in midair and missed it. He learned his lesson.
And such a big, strong player. Just power it up to the rim. Get to the free throw line.
That's the 4th foul on Treveon Johnson. So Johnson won from the limit. And Alley Cox, friendly iron on the first. Mo Alley Cox has struggled from the free throw line, shooting 46% thus far this year. Treveon Graham will take a rest as Jared Guest will come on. You'd have to think that Shaka Smart just 2 seconds from the media stoppage, using this to rest up Graham for the home stretch. As Alley Cox gets 1 of 2, it's a 4-point game. Walden bringing it up. Treveon Johnson plays on with 4 fouls. Jeff Neubauer playing all his chips. Walden flows past Lewis. Guest helps out. Excellent defensive help from Jared Guest. Here's Lewis. Wanted to step into that shot. Stutz was there, so Lewis takes it in. Offensive foul. Charge is taken by Walden. Will take us to the under 8 break. Eastern Kentucky continues to lead. They're on top of ECU by 4. One of the members of the crowd exclaimed during that timeout, "Ref, that's not a charge." He was calling timeout again, but it did look like a charge on the replay. JeQuan Lewis barreling in there. The defensive stop for Eastern Kentucky. Brooks, they lead by 4, and they've again outplayed VCU in this half.
And they're hanging around. Smart basketball plays like we saw Corey Walden getting in and doing the little things like drawing charges, drawing fouls at the other end. It's going to be an interesting last 8 minutes, 7.5 minutes of this game to see if the pressure is going to get to Eastern Kentucky and they can maintain their poise and composure down the stretch.
Treveon Graham is back. Rams unable to trap in the corner. Marcus Lewis blows past, but Johnson pokes it away from behind. That secondary wave, as you've talked about.
Yep, the back slap. You never buy the VCU pressure. They're always coming in from behind.
VCU would love a bucket here. Just outside of 7 to play. Lewis coming in, and he is fouled by Cozy. 1 to give, however, for the Colonels, and VCU will get a fresh shot clock and inbound from the baseline.
VCU's offense tonight has mainly been generated in transition and attacking the paint off the dribble. Eastern Kentucky has got to do a good job of being disciplined, keeping their plays out of the paint and not fouling.
Graham nearly lost his footing there, able to maintain his balance. Rams prodding a bit on the perimeter. Down to the baseline, and Reddick flings it into the backcourt. This will be a VCU turnover. Javante Reddick, very quiet in this game, Brooks. 7 points and 5 rebounds. And that turnover for him, and we haven't heard much from him, really, about the last 20 minutes.
He's had a double-double 3 of his last 4 games, but tonight he hasn't played with the same energy.
Darius Johnson with it. He plays with 4 fouls. Under 7 to play. There's always a sense in this building that eventually VCU is going to make a run, but I think concern is growing in the stands, at least, at the moment. Cozy open for 3. Short on that shot. Stutz throws his body into harm's way, but VCU still able to pull it down. Lewis is open. He'll pull the trigger. Got it! 1-point game.
And JeQuan Lewis making plays at both ends of the court, contesting the shot on the defensive end, running down and converting at the other end. This is what VCU needs to get that run going.
He may be a freshman, but he's a precocious one. 1-point affair. Under 6 to play. Very patient is Eastern Kentucky. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Rams need to finish this possession defensively. Johnson into the corner. 3. Cozy, step back. Got the foul? No foul called. The miss. VCU looking for the lead. Hesitation from Lewis to the cup. And the Rams surge in front by 1.
We were talking in the timeout which VCU player was going to step up and provide that spark, and JeQuan Lewis has come in and given that energy.
Did you have your money on the freshman?
I did not. You think Weber or Graham, but it's been Lewis.
Here comes Walden. Play on, they say, as Walden goes tumbling out of the lane. Another block in the corner. Lewis again. Not this time. And the rebound to Eastern Kentucky.
Good rebound by Walden. Good job of getting their team set. They want to use clock and try to execute here in the half court.
4.5 to play. 1-point game. And still the Colonels showing that patience. Reddick's got Walden in some trouble. Able to fling it free to Cozy. Another pass. Deflected by Weber and a steal.
I think we're seeing fatigue set in for Eastern Kentucky right now.
Melvin Johnson, no. Reddick down to the floor, selling out for a second chance for the Rams.
You talked earlier how Shaka was making substitutions to get his guys fresh. They're the fresh team right now.
Lewis slipped and turned it over. And here comes Cozy. Bucket. And one coming on the house. Jeff Neubauer with the fist pump. Under 4 to go. The bucket for Cozy as the Colonels in front. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here in Richmond. VCU on a run until JeQuan Lewis loses his footing. It leads to this Cozy make, and look at him cozy up, create that contact, Brooksbury. He'll be at the foul line when we come back. Eastern Kentucky an opportunity for the 2-point lead. 3:57 to go, and I think it's fair to call this one a whale of a contest here tonight.
It's a possession-by-possession game. It's going to be fun to watch down the stretch. Jeff Neubauer already putting his 4 guys back on defense, so they'll be set when VCU comes down to the other end.
VCU has not overcome more than a 12-point deficit this year. They trailed by 14 in the first half. They overcame an early 12-point hole at Belmont, picked right behind these Eastern Kentucky Colonels in the Ohio Valley Conference. Cozy at the foul line, one of the nation's best. And he misses. Cozy, a 93% foul shooter, inopportune time for a rare miss. 1-point game. Graham into the corner. Johnson with that runner. Way too much on it. All oxygen. That was Johnson's bread and butter as a freshman last year. He called it the Johnson floater.
A little too strong on that one there.
That one floating through space. Weber nearly able to save that off the sideline, disrupting this possession for Eastern Kentucky. 3:29 to go, 1-point lead for the Colonels. Jeff Neubauer trying to come on the road and pick up a signature win for his program. Backdoor cut is Stutz, but the recovery by Weber and the steal.
How about
Weber nearly lost it. Brooksari coming up floor, got it back.
We talked about help defense earlier in the game. Weber went from outside the paint to help position in a flash and had those active hands ready to steal the ball.
Stutz thought he was all alone. Graham slithering in, and he'll buy this round. Lead back to VCU.
And on the other end, Eastern Kentucky a little late getting there.
Foul comes as well. The foul will put Graham at the line. VCU by 1, an opportunity for 2.
And I beg your pardon, Stutz was actually in very good position, but got off the ground. He needs to keep those feet set and just build a wall and make Graham shoot over top.
Foul was on Stutz. Treveon Graham makes the free throw. His 14th point of the night makes it a 2-point lead for the Rams. Under 3 to play, and a careless turnover here. Treveon Graham pleading his case for the official. He didn't need to. VCU was already going to get that call. Rams trying to take control. Deontay Weber with Walden riding shotgun. Here he comes, and Williams reached in. Orlando Williams will send Weber to the foul line. Very important to note, however, just the 18th foul for Eastern Kentucky, and VCU just 6 of 12 at the line here tonight.
And Weber
trying to come by, as you see here, Brooks, and somewhat of a touch foul out high.
Heady play by Weber. The floor was spread, and he attacked the paint. The referees have been calling this touch fouls. He's got to convert at the other end.
Huge free throw miss for Weber. Eastern Kentucky with it. They trail by just 2. 2.5 to go. Brandenburg shadowing Cozy, and Reddick will foul Cozy, and that will put Eastern Kentucky into the bonus.
And that's a consistent call. They've called that hedge all night. If the defender gets too physical and hits the ball handler, they've been calling that foul. It's a good call by the referee. Heady play by Eastern Kentucky to attack that ball screen hard and draw the foul.
Cozy just missed one. Again, a 93% foul shooter. And he gets the first to make it a 1-point game. Once again, the Colonels fall back off the foul line. Not expecting Cozy to miss. And indeed, he gets them both. We're even again, 2:20 to play. Deontay Weber, dangerous pass taken away. Lewis, one-handed flush. And a big turnover in the open floor. VCU giving it up to Eastern Kentucky, and Sharka Smart furious with Treveon Graham.
And Treveon Graham not being aware of the basketball play right there. He's got to come and meet the basketball. He didn't give enough effort to pursue that 50-50 ball, and Marcus Lewis took advantage of it and got the flush at the other end.
Just when you think one team is grabbing control of this game. It's the other team that makes back-to-back plays. In this instance, it's Eastern Kentucky. They lead by 2 with 2:10 to go.
You're exactly right, John. Eastern Kentucky getting sloppy against the press, turning it over. Weber getting a foul at the other end. VCU not taking care of the ball, resulting in an easy bucket for Eastern Kentucky. Who wants this game? Who can execute and really step up and make the plays down the stretch to get the victory?
We're going to find out over the final 2:10. VCU has the ball, trailing by 2. The reset, both teams in the single bonus right now. Eastern Kentucky has committed 8 fouls. VCU has committed 7. Possession arrow favors VCU. No Ram with more than 3 fouls. Javante Reddick is the lone Ram with 3. Terrius Johnson of Eastern Kentucky has 4 and plays with those 4. Deontay Weber curling in, kicking corner. Melvin Johnson, not this time.
They got the shot they wanted. Melvin Johnson with his feet set in the corner. Wonderful block out by Corey Walden to give them one opportunity that possession.
Melvin Johnson still shaking his head in frustration back on the defensive end. Big opportunity for Eastern Kentucky. Cozy backing it off.
He's got the mismatch here, John. He's going to take advantage of him going against Reddick.
Javante Reddick's out there with Cozy. Fouls as good as a bucket. Cozy's automatic at the line. Blows past eventually. Kicks outside. Walden misses everything. And the Rams have the rebound.
That was quite an opportunity for Eastern Kentucky to put a dagger in him here late.
A lot of our game clock evaporated on that. Full shot clock possession. 2-point lead. Johnson coming in. Spin! In the high finish to tie us back up again.
Tough shot for the sophomore. Big time play.
Got to admire his willingness to take it on his shoulders again. Brandenburg pokes that one out of bounds. It'll stay with Eastern Kentucky. I was about to say, as you see Johnson eventually getting the look and taking it in here on the drive after he had just missed that shot from the corner. Big-time players, Brooks, want the ball in big-time moments.
You're exactly right, and Shaka Smart has applauded him all year for his talent and his guts, and it's coming through late here in the game.
Cozy's a big-time player, but he gives it up momentarily. Terrius Johnson hits the ball screen. Stutz, shot clock eroding quickly. Down to 5, and now 3. Cozy looking around with 1. Gets it up, misses everything. Shot clock violation with 24.5 seconds remaining.
VCU with the effort. The way they played that ball screen was magnificent, not letting Cozy break free. Eastern Kentucky had the ball in the hands of their best player trying to execute, but VCU came out on top with good half-court defense.
24 seconds to go. Shaka Smart calls the timeout. He wants to set up the final play here, an opportunity to win it. The Rams will have this as the Rams frazzle Cozy. And he gets that shot up. It would have counted, but it was well off the mark. And Brooks, I mentioned going to the halftime intermission that the Rams never hold for the last shot of the half. They did it in the first half, and they're going to do it again here. Who are you looking for and why?
It's almost the ideal scenario before halftime, but they played the University of Virginia earlier in the year, and they ran a high double ball screen and hit Treveon Graham as a pick-and-pop situation, and Graham put a dagger in the Cavaliers. I wouldn't be surprised to see the same situation. But in that set, John, you'll have 2 shooters in the corner. And we've seen that corner jump shot a lot tonight as well.
Rams with 12 three-point makes. They have been much cooler, however, in this second half. Now 12 of 28 for the game from outside. We'll see which personnel package VCU deploys. Have a pretty good idea that Jeff Neubauer will be going with his 5 regulars who have each played hefty minutes here tonight.
Sometimes the head coach will switch defenses. In this scenario, I predict that Eastern Kentucky sticks with that active man-to-man defense. But look for that high ball screen for VCU and look for those shooters to be in the corners.
Weber, Graham, Johnson. Johnson, Brandenburg, Reddick is your answer. Graham is going to inbound to Weber. Eastern Kentucky is going to wait at the half court. Don't want to give up anything easy on a press breaker. And Weber slips it into drive. Met across the timeline by Walden. Weber looking around. Gives it up to Graham, under 10. Graham's going to wait for the opportunity to win it.
Isolation.
Here comes Treveon. Straight on. He got stripped down low. Eastern Kentucky with the heave. And he nearly got it. We're going to overtime. Rams did not get the final say in the end. Walden very nearly broke the hearts of the folks here in Richmond, Virginia, as he nearly drained it from half court.
It's like Duke Butler in the national championship.
What a fantastic game we have gotten tonight. VCU and Eastern Kentucky all even at 66. Here comes Graham. How about the steal by Walden? We've seen so many reach-in fouls. Very close there, you have to imagine, to putting Graham at the line to try to win it with foul shots. Jeff Neubauer, you have to love his energy. Yeah. He was going bananas.
Well, when Graham turned the corner, I thought they had a really good opportunity. I thought he was going to get a good look, but kudos to Corey Walden for those active hands and just slicing it right out.
So we'll go to overtime for VCU and Eastern Kentucky. Who has the edge, Brooks, in the extra session?
You've got a VCU team on their home court with a very active crowd. If I had to predict a winner here, I'd go with VCU, but look for these two guards for Eastern Kentucky to step up. Cozy and Walden have played a magnificent game to this point. If the two veteran leaders for Eastern Kentucky can maintain composure and play good basketball, they might pull this thing out.
66 all. Rams averaging nearly 80 points coming in. Eastern Kentucky also averaging nearly 80 points. Why haven't either team gotten close to their usual totals?
They're both playing hard on defense now. They're both getting back and protecting the basket and not giving up any easy looks. Eastern Kentucky started out getting those easy layups at the beginning of the game. We haven't seen any of those opportunities here in the second half.
VCU has forced 14 turnovers. Excuse me, they've turned it over 14 times, and they've created 12 turnovers. They've had a close eye on that turnover battle. These are the two best teams in the nation at creating turnovers. It will be the original 5 starters for Eastern Kentucky. Melvin Johnson will be on the floor as VCU, with the exception of Reddick, will play fairly small, with Weber, Brandenburg, and Johnson out there. So here we go in the extra period. This time Reddick, who lost the opening tap at the outset, easily deflects this one back. Here comes Weber into the corner. Johnson again, short on that attempt, and Reddick pulls in a huge offensive board.
That's the effort they need for them to be successful.
Overtime. Dangerous pass got through. Brandenburg, the other corner. Yes!
All set up because of the Javante Reddick rebound, giving the Rams a second chance that possession.
The Rams just keep shooting them at you at their 30th three-point attempt. Rams draw first blood in the extra session. We've seen Eastern Kentucky respond each and every time tonight. They have less than 10 seconds on the shot clock to do it, and not much sense of urgency for Corey Walden. 3 and down to 2. Pull it up from way out there and miss it short. But Brandenburg couldn't get the handle. Lewis can. Runs over Weber. Offensive foul. Lewis didn't like it, and I think he's got a case, Brooks. Weber may have been a step late there.
Yeah, I think he does have a case. The way the game has been called to this point, when you attack the paint like that, if the defender's riding you, the offensive player usually gets the call.
Hard to know what you want Marcus Lewis to do there. Briante Weber is one of the best defenders in the nation. And he got the call there. It is a huge one, potentially a game-turning one. Still a lot of time, under 4 to play. Rams with a 3-point lead. At the 9th team foul for Eastern Kentucky, it'll be the double bonus the rest of the way for VCU. Rams still have 2 more to give. Graham nearly got caught in between. Diagonal jumper won't go, and Eastern Kentucky a big stop.
Good defense by Eastern Kentucky. Good rebound.
Again, the mismatch. Reddick out on the ultra-quick Cozy. He'll pull it up. Miss it. That's the shot Cozy wanted. Could see the wheels turning in his head. Couldn't hit it.
He's a confident kid. He wanted to step up and make a big play. You got to tip your hat to him wanting and having the guts to shoot that shot.
VCU by 3. Brandenburg will set it back up for VCU. What a battle it's been tonight. Reddick falling away for 3. Misread the shot clock, I think, and missed it badly.
Let's see if Eastern Kentucky can execute here. You've asked why this is such a low-scoring game. How many times have we seen that shot clock almost run out?
Reddick put that in the air, however, with 6 on the shot clock. And Shaka Smart, you can see the frustration on his face. Jeff Neubauer wants to establish some consistency again. VCU by 3. VCU with a 3-point overtime lead, but Brooks-Berry right here. Javante Reddick, I think, thought he had less time than he did. He launched that shot with 6 seconds on the shot clock, missed it badly, and because of that, Eastern Kentucky continues to trail by 1 possession.
Not the shot that Shaka Smart wanted. Definitely gave Eastern Kentucky life. They could have extended the lead that possession. Javante got panicked a little bit and chucked one up with 6 seconds left on the shot clock.
2:33 to go. Eastern Kentucky has not scored as of yet in this overtime. Just the Brandenburg 3 for VCU. Cozy draws Weber. Ball Stutz trying to get it back. Big steal, Melvin Johnson.
We thought he had Marcus Lewis on that backdoor cut. Jumped in the air trying to force a jump pass and got caught.
VCU yet another opportunity to grab a more firm control of this game. Here comes Weber knifing through the lane. Wrong English. Reddick couldn't pull it in. Johnson to the floor, and it's going to be a foul on Reddick. Under 2 to play. Weber very nearly got that to go. Reddick looked like he got hit in the teeth by Johnson there, but eventually it's Reddick who's called for the foul.
It's just fabulous effort by both teams. They're both battling, wanting to win this basketball game.
That is 4 fouls on Javante Reddick. Will walk the other way. Again, it will be 1-1. That's the 8th team foul for VCU. Terrius Johnson, an exceptional free throw shooter, 83%. Front end, and he missed it. Too strong, a huge miss, shooting into that VCU student section. Minute 45. Graham shoving Walden out of the way. Outside to Weber. Weber takes it in, trying to go to the corner. Couldn't get it there. And a bit discombobulated, but VCU has another opportunity.
Here's another one of those late shot clock possessions.
Weber calling for it in the corner. Instead, Johnson takes it in, wave it off. Offensive foul. Johnson looking around, and now, did they overrule that?
That is a charge.
They did not. Melvin Johnson coming in over the top. Big charge. Went the way of the Rams at the outset of overtime. And here comes Johnson. Looks like Stutz was there in time, Brooks-Berry.
Very good call. Outside of the half circle there. Feet set. The referee's got that one right.
So now both teams with 9 fouls committed. Double bonus the rest of the way. This crowd is griping, but I think in their hearts they know that was the right call. Johnson had a couple options. He could have gone to the corner for Weber, or he could have gone across the lane for Reddick. Not the best vision from Melvin. He's had a great night tonight. And it's a 1-possession game with a minute 25 to go.
That's 2 possessions. VCU hadn't executed well with that clock running down.
Only 3 points in this overtime scored by Rob Brandenburg. Rams switch off that high screen.
There's that mismatch again, John.
This time it's Walden who has Reddick out high on him. Here comes Walden, exploding pass, taking to the bucket. No, stick back for Stutz, however. Or did they wave that one off? They did indeed. Offensive foul the other way.
Very consistent call.
Foul is on Walden. He has been so prolific at getting to the bucket tonight, particularly in the first half. Stutz was there and perfectly positioned, but wave off that bucket after they waved off what would have been a bucket for Johnson. As you see him there, and VCU now with a minute 1. And it's not too often where you'll see a game won in overtime, potentially with only 1 field goal scored. The reason being everybody to the bucket as Walden gets there. And he goes right up over the top of Rob Brandenburg.
These are such two high-powered offensive teams, but as you said, they've only scored 1 basket here in overtime because defensively they're playing so sound. They're getting back and getting their guys set and making the other offensive team run the clock and really earn a basket each possession.
So it will be VCU basketball. I would expect, Brooks, and agree or disagree, that VCU would try to work the shot clock all the way down and score at the end of that shot clock. If you don't, you take your chances defending 1 possession to win the game.
VCU loves that dribble drive. But it's been defensive plays that have been the difference maker here in overtime. Charges at both ends. But I look for VCU to run offense, like you said, John. Run the clock down, pull it back out, and then get a set with 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
The only problem with that is Eastern Kentucky is the best, you would have to say, in the half court at creating turnovers, particularly when you're trying to just work the ball around.
It's not going to be easy. It hasn't been easy all night.
Rams with the ball and a 3-point lead. Under a minute to go in overtime. Weber dancing, got rid of it to Graham. The Rams had a couple opportunities, but indeed they will pull it back outside.
Aggressive run and jump defense by Eastern Kentucky.
Brandenburg trying to drop it off, and he got it stolen. Treveon Johnson took it away. So here comes Eastern Kentucky. Down 3. Shot clock and game clock almost squared up. Cozy coming in. Kick to the corner for the tie. Too strong. Reddick with the rebound. And Jeff Neubauer saying, get up there, we need to foul. Here comes Melvin Johnson, and Walden finally catches up to him. So Johnson's going to shoot a pair at the foul line. Eastern Kentucky got precisely the look they wanted for Walden, and quite simply, Brooks, he couldn't connect when it mattered.
You're exactly right. They did get the look that they wanted. They've run that ball screen and made the big guy switch on Cozy. Reddick versus Cozy created that penetrating situation. Walden had his feet set, ready to knock it down. Now Johnson has 2 shots to ice this game.
Johnson got the first. Melvin, a long exhale. He didn't feel as though he put enough on that. You could tell out of his hand. Johnson hasn't been to the free throw line much this year. That's just his 8th attempt. He's 6 of 8, but a huge make. Makes it a 2-possession game. 14.2 seconds remaining. 1 more coming for Johnson. He misses that, but again, the important one made. Here comes Eastern Kentucky. No time to spare. Walden's going to go for the quick 2, and he's there to get it with 7 seconds to go. Jeff Neubauer, the timeout, and life here for Eastern Kentucky.
Can't quit. You got to play every possession. ECU let down just a little bit, letting Walden get to the rim. Now Jeff Neubauer's going to get his guys set for full court pressure, making it tough to get the ball in bounds and see if he can run and jump and create a turnover.
Try to get the steal. If you don't, foul immediately, and hope that VCU will miss at least 1. And odds are good that they will, at least if you look at the numbers. Brooks, VCU just 7 of 15 from the free throw line here tonight.
Shaka Smart having JeQuan Lewis and Briante Weber in the game at the same time. 2 quick guys able to get open and get that ball in bounds. 2 excellent free throw shooters as well.
We'll see who VCU puts back on the floor. Again, like any basketball team, Brooks, they've got some that excel at the free throw line and some that do not. As we look at Walden just taking it in for 2, and I like that decision for Jeff Neubauer. I know you do as well. And I have to say repeatedly, I have been very impressed with the game that Jeff Neubauer and his staff have coached here tonight.
Yeah, time and time again, he's seen that Shaka Smart is switching that high ball screen, so he's finding his guard going against Javante Reddick.
Rams by 2. They have the basketball. They'll send out Weber, Lewis, Graham, Brandenburg, and Reddick. More than likely not trying to set it up to get it in the hands of Reddick, who has specifically struggled from the foul line here this season. No timeouts left, Brooks, for Eastern Kentucky. 1 for VCU should they find trouble here. And Graham couldn't find anybody, and precisely that. He'll use that last timeout for the Rams. Potentially just looking to see if they could slip it in bounds easily when they couldn't. No chances taken. However, now they won't have that timeout to bail them out again.
Eastern Kentucky did a great job of fighting through that screen. They tried to rub JeQuan Lewis off, but the defender stayed with him. Everyone stayed matched up with hands in the passing lane.
7 seconds to go. That's an eternity in a situation like this. Again, Eastern Kentucky is going to be looking for the steal of the inbounds and a quick bucket. Either tie it or win it. Otherwise, if VCU gets it in, they'll foul quickly. Hope that the Rams can't convert both free throws and take their chances with a last-second shot to send us to another overtime. What a game we've had here tonight. Eastern Kentucky coming in. Big haymaker landed in the first half. VCU surged back to take the lead at the half, and we've gone really toe-to-toe and back and forth here in the second half. All right, Graham will inbound, trying to get it to Weber. He gets it in, and the foul comes immediately. 1.3 seconds off the clock, and Weber, who shoots 74% at the free throw line, will go to the line with a crucial pair of free throws upcoming.
Weber's got a lot of guts. He's the starting point guard. He's been in this situation before. Now, he was in this situation against Virginia and missed one. But he's a guy that Shaka trusts. He puts him in the game in these situations and has the confidence that he can knock these shots down.
Weber 0 for 1 thus far tonight. And the first, no good. So there will be an opportunity for Eastern Kentucky to at least tie it. And if Weber cannot hit the second one, an opportunity for Eastern Kentucky to steal it on a three-point make. Now VCU falling back off the line, so Eastern Kentucky is guaranteed the rebound on a miss.
Look at these two guards, Walden and Cozy, to work together to free one of the other up for an open three-point shot.
Weber got them both. So Eastern Kentucky will be looking for the tie. The make allows the Rams to pressure. Here comes Cozy. Lost the handle. Tries to fling it up. Tried to draw the foul. Got neither. It will stay with Eastern Kentucky, but with just 1.3 seconds to go. Brooks, you can see Cozy right in front of us. Lost the handle ever so briefly, but that threw off the timing of everything.
It did, but there's still life. Jeff Neubauer doesn't have any timeouts right now, but this is why you rehearse these late game situations in practice. This is a set play that they've gone over before.
You do have time to catch and shoot. Walden acting as a coach on the floor. He's literally pulling his teammates into the position he wants. Walden will inbound. He got it to Cozy. Decent look in the corner, and the Rams have survived Eastern Kentucky tonight. Cozy oxygen at the horn, and the Rams will win it by 3. Brooks Berry, what a ball game here on Broad Street.
Oh, fantastic game. Eastern Kentucky had a chance, John, but credit the Rams for battling back and playing hard all game.
Shaka Smart congratulating Eastern Kentucky, and you know the coach that Shaka Smart is. He respects the effort of Eastern Kentucky here tonight, and who wouldn't? Man, what a basketball team. Rams didn't play their best. I think Eastern Kentucky might have another level as well. It's going to be an exciting season for that man. We know it's going to be an exciting season for the VCU Rams, Brooks, and that was by far the most fun we've had at home for VCU this year.
Rams didn't play their best, but credit Eastern Kentucky for taking advantage of any time that VCU wasn't ready to play and making them pay. Eastern Kentucky showed why they're one of the best teams in the Ohio Valley Conference.
And how about VCU? They win it in overtime by scoring 5 points. Eastern Kentucky held but to 2 in the extra session. That's going to do it for us here in Richmond. For my broadcast partner, Brooks Berry, and our entire crew, what a night it's been tonight in Richmond. So long from Broad Street.